All right. Microphone is on. We're good to go. Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Autumn Robertson bringing you a quick update with your forecast this wonderful, steamy afternoon. It's hot outside. That's an understatement. You can see here our heat index temperatures out there throughout the Tampa Bay area. Some spots feel like triple digits. Not too much of a surprise, as we have been talking about this heat for a few days now. We said it was coming and it's here. So that's the name of the game this week as we continue to the next few days. Not really going to see much of a relief from the heat. And not just here, throughout some parts of the country too. A lot of the lower 48 is dealing with a range of heat alerts today. And we are still, believe it or not, a little bit under that heat advisory criteria, but later on this week, we could very well be a part of some parts of the nation that is under alert of some kind. A heat advisory may be issued tomorrow, and I'll talk about that later on in the forecast here. But this is what it feels like outside right now. Over the next couple of hours, obviously, we're going to continue to cool down a little bit, but we are really feeling the peak of that heat this afternoon around 4 o'clock. So for your commute, not really seeing much in the sense of rain. And that lack of rain, that means more heat. That rain tends to cool us down a little bit. And we're really not seeing too much out there today on our radar here. A couple of showers here and there, but really these temperatures is what we're focusing on today. How about a heat index of 105 in Riverview, 98 in Tampa? And this is compared to what our current temperatures are, which is only 91 degrees. That's the air temperature in Tampa. When you add on that humidity, that's that apparent temperature, what your body feels. So that's why we really like to talk about the feel like or the heat index, because the air temperature really does not tell the full story. You can see here, some spots are still in the 80s, but when you add on the humidity, it's gonna feel significantly warmer than that, about 7 to 8, almost 10 degrees warmer than what is being picked up on our sensors. So it is a hot day for sure, and we're gonna continue to feel that heat throughout the rest of the week. Speaking of heat, let's talk about what's going on throughout the lower 48. My goodness, 102 is what it feels like in New Orleans. And when you add on that moisture surging in from the south, that's that tropical moisture, it just feels heavy and oppressive. So that's why we have those heat alerts in effect. We have, I'm gonna go over to this map here. Woo, that's a lot of people. 120 people across the country are under some type of heat alert today. You can see the areas in the orange there, a lot of the Midwest, really. You see the Greater Lakes, the Great Lakes from Illinois all the way to Ohio. In that pink shade is the excessive heat warnings. In those areas further north, they don't really deal with heat like this. So people who are not really used to air like what we feel here in Florida is feeling a little bit of that today, and that's why we have those warnings in effect, because people are just not really used to it. So excessive heat warnings in effect for the areas in the pink, heat advisories for the areas in the orange, and then we have excessive heat watches. And some of these heat alerts have been pulled back, are expired. I know that there was a really terrible heat throughout some parts of the Carolinas earlier today, but now most of them are just under a heat advisory. But that's a lot of people that are dealing with these heat alerts today, and this is going to continue throughout the rest of the week. Even here in Florida, we'll continue to see these temperatures climb throughout the week. And one of the reasons why we have this heat dome, basically a ridge of high pressure, a sprawling ridge of high pressure. It's very large, it's very strong, and it's set up just in the south. But you can see that ridge, you can kind of see where there is kind of a ridge there, kind of a dome where the contours are. You can see well out to the west, it's a little bit cooler, but right underneath that high pressure, we have that sinking air. Sinking air compresses and it heats up. That's why we're seeing temperatures well above average throughout parts of the country. You can see here on this graphic, these temperatures out you're just seeing are the air temperatures. It does not take in accounts of the humidity that's being added on to these temperatures here. You can kind of see those wind barbs surging out of the south there into Texas, Louisiana, and that is that deeper or kind of the tropical moisture. When you add that on to air temperatures, of course, it feels a lot warmer than 96 degrees or 92 degrees. And you can see how this ridge of high pressure continues to move more so to the west over the next few days. That's going to continue to bring and pump in the heat throughout the central United States, while some areas like the Great Lakes and New England, they will start to cool down a little bit more. You can kind of see where those contours are still in those, I guess you can call it pinkish, whitish looking contours. That's where we're going to still see those really hot temperatures through Friday, and that's through some parts of the southeast. That's for Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama, all the way into Texas, even as this ridge continues to move to the west. So we're really not going to see much of relief from the heat throughout parts of Texas, from the deep south. Even for us here in Florida, you see these temperatures even into Friday. We're still in the mid 90s. So not really much relief for the heat. The high pressure is going to remain in control of our forecast for the next few days, and that will allow for temperatures to really climb. You can see our record temperature, near record heat in Tampa. Our record temperatures getting into the next few days, we're in the mid 90s. Tuesday, we had a high today of 94 degrees. I'm not sure if we hit 94. We'll have to check and see. But the record was 97. But Wednesday into Thursday, we have a record of 95. We have a forecasted high of 95. So we can either touch that, and we get higher than 95, we could break a record. We could set a new one. So we're going to be flirting with the records this week all the way into the weekend. You see these temperatures really don't change too much. We stay pretty consistent in those mid 90s heading into Saturday into Sunday. So that's why we stress. Make sure that you guys have your waters, and make sure that you're staying hydrated, taking those breaks, not staying outside for a long period of time, even trying to get under the shade a little bit, but even being under the shade doesn't really cool you off too much. You try to get inside with the AC, some powerful AC too, with the ice cold water. Take it easy over the next few days. We're really not seeing much rain either over the next few days. Now tomorrow our rain chances go up a little bit more than today, but you can even see, I'm actually going to go to our radar here. You can see right now there's just not really much out there. If you're one of the lucky ones, if you did get a shower or a thunderstorm today, because we are pretty dry, we're bone dry. You see this, there we go, look at that center of high pressure right there. That clockwise circulation is one of the reasons why we're not seeing a lot of rain. Sinking air leads to sometimes drier conditions across the area. So we have some pop-up showers here and there, but they're really not significant. And when they do develop, they're not really lasting for long. So we had a little shower just kind of to the north of Tampa, north and to the east of Tampa earlier, but you can see how quickly it formed and how quickly it fell apart. And that's what we're going to see over the next few hours here. Very spotty rain, and not really much rain that's going to stick around for a long period of time, and not enough rain to really cool us off. These heavy downpours will bring temperatures from the 90s to the 70s really quickly. So when we see a lot of rain and we have a lot of extra moisture, a little bit of those extra clouds, we don't really see those temperatures soar like they are going to do this week, but we're pulling back from the rain significantly. So we're not going to really get much of that rain cooled air in here anytime soon. Tomorrow, it looks like there's a better shot of a few storms, but still, especially in the morning and early afternoon when we're seeing the peak heat of the day, those rain chances really do stay limited. And here's the play-by-play. Throughout the rest of the afternoon, I even think that this featurecast here is overdoing it a little bit, so I'm going to go to this other one here, other model. So you can see throughout the day that it's pretty quiet. This is the rest of your afternoon through your evening. Quiet. A spotty shower is possible. Very isolated rain. But that's really about it. Now getting into Wednesday morning, looking good. All right. Very quiet out there. Temperatures will be climbing quickly. You can see this is 11 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, already in those low 90s. And but you can see there's a bit of rain trying to move in north to south, kind of northeast to southwest later on that afternoon. A few storms are possible out there. It looks like mainly north of I-4. So we do have better rain chances tomorrow, way better than today. But this more than likely will be a bit brief. If it does move through, give it about an hour. It's not going to last for long. And depending on how early it moves through, it could affect our temperatures a little bit, but still expect your Wednesday to be a toasty day. This is heading into Thursday, too. I want to go back to this particular model so we can skip ahead. So your Thursday, looking good in the morning, but you can see a few showers try to form in the afternoon and evening, but this is not a lot of rain. So we still stay pretty isolated through your Thursday, and that heads into Friday as well. By the weekend, our rain chances look like they go up just a little bit more. We get back to a bit more of that kind of typical summertime pattern. Yeah, we're not really going to see any widespread rain this week at all. Rain is not really our big weather story, obviously. The weather story here are the temperatures. So, not a lot of rain-cooled air in store for us anytime soon. And I do want to talk about the tropics really quickly. We do have some activity, which is, of course, pretty typical for this time of year. We are in June, after all. Most of the activity is kind of far away from us, so there's no threats at this point. We do have Tropical Storm, me and Natalie tried to figure out how to say this earlier, Blas, Tropical Storm Blas, in the Pacific. This is just off of the southern coast of Mexico here. This is a Pacific storm. It's not impacting us. It's heading to the west, but it is a tropical storm. It looks like it'll develop into a hurricane, at least a weak one, by Thursday. And then we have a couple of disturbances. One is still in the Pacific, a 50% chance. That's not really our concern at this point, but there's the other one in the Atlantic you can see here with a 40% chance of development. These development chances did go up. They were lower yesterday, and now we're in that medium range there. So 40% chance that this area shaded in the orange will become a system, a tropical storm, possibly within the next 5 days. And if it does impact anyone at this point, it looks like it will impact Nicaragua and Honduras, the coast, bring them some heavy rain, even if it doesn't develop into a tropical storm. So at this point, no threats to the United States, no threats to Florida in regard to tropical systems. We are still pretty quiet right now, which is nice. But we could use a little bit of rain because that will really help with our temperatures. So bring them down just a little bit. That would be nice. So I'm going to go back here to this feel like temperature map. Lindsay said, yeah, it's hot. Yeah, Richard said, still sort of like a preheat. We don't get rolling in Florida until mid to late July. Haha, but yeah, it's a hot one. And there's the thing, right? Yeah, our normal temperature is around 92 degrees this time of year. Maybe 91. I have to actually go and see. I want to make sure I am accurate here. So our normal high, 91 degrees, all right? We have a high of 95, and even tomorrow, and that may not seem like a significant swing, but it kind of is for us, especially when you get into that range, those 90-degree temperature range. The higher you go, just the hotter it gets. When you add on the humidity, it's going to feel very, very hot. Heat index temperatures around 108 heading into Wednesday, especially for our inland spots. That could be heat advisory criteria. We could have a heat advisory in effect tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week. So even though, yeah, it does get a little hotter, I mean, 91 is our normal high. We do get a little warmer than that throughout the year. This is unseasonably hot for us. So we got to take it seriously, not really downplay it. And people tend to, kind of have that theory, like, oh, it's going to be hotter a little bit later, but you want to make sure that you are taking all the precautions, especially if you're really sensitive to the heat. Don't be outside for a long period of time, kids, and of course elderly people. Just make sure that you're keeping an eye on them, because heat-related illnesses happen very easily this time of year, especially with these feel-like temperatures in the triple digits, and that's what we're going to feel tomorrow. Let's see, forecasted feel-like temperatures. This is Tuesday, getting into Wednesday. You see Wednesday 3 o'clock. And I think this is underdoing it a little bit, all right? So feel like temperatures will be in the triple digits tomorrow. That's very uncomfortable. So make sure that you are staying hydrated and just planning your day accordingly. During the peak heat hours of the day, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, maybe bring it inside and try to get a lot of your activities done earlier on in the morning. I say that this is the time of year, you got to do everything at 6 o'clock in the morning so you can beat the heat. That is definitely me. But if you can avoid it, by all means, do it. Absolutely do it. I do not blame you, because these heat indices are absolutely no joke. And yes, it will get hotter throughout the rest of the year, but we are seeing a little bit of a peak of what we can expect as we get into our peak summer months here. So unseasonable heat is in store throughout a lot of the country this week. A lot of the country, and that includes us. We are among them. Even the Panhandle was under a heat advisory today. Didn't make it far south. They're still under it. The Panhandle stretching into northern Florida is seeing that kind of heat advisory criteria temperatures today, and they were yesterday too. And this could stretch a little further south as we head into the rest of the week. So just be prepared for that. Elaine and Scott both said, wow. Wow is right. These temperatures are just crazy. I can't even imagine folks who are living way north of us. You know, we're kind of just used to it. I mean, this is hot, you know, where we just kind of deal with it. It's like, ugh, whatever, fine. But a heat index, 105 in Chicago, that's ridiculous. Cincinnati, 107. They're not used to that, especially this time of year. So that's why we have those excessive heat warnings in effect, because it's just ridiculously hot up there. I hope they're really taking their time. I'm really, you know, concerned about people who don't have any homes, who are out there maybe embracing this heat without the proper necessities that they need, the water and, you know, the cooling that they need, no AC. I'm really concerned for people who have to deal with that, you know, without a shelter over their heads. So I know that there's some heat shelters, excessive heat shelters. When it gets this hot, they can, you know, kind of like our cooling shelters that we have here in Florida. There's that up there that they have in effect. So hopefully people are taking advantage of that if they really need to get inside, because that is extremely unsafe. That's just not the type of air that you need to be in. Rebecca said, how to handle this weather? 15 minutes outside, then 15 minutes inside. Absolutely. That is the plan. Break it up. I don't even know if I could barely last 90 seconds outside. I went to go get lunch. I came back in and I could barely breathe. It was so hot. So hot, so heavy, that air. So yeah, take your time out there, guys, and just really play it safe. And the 5 o'clock show is about to start, so tune in. Bobby's gonna break everything down for you in regards to that heat. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm gonna wrap it up here and gonna wrap it up for today. And I will see you all tomorrow. This morning I couldn't get on, we had breaking news, but I should be on tomorrow morning around regular time, 11 o'clock in the morning, talking about the same old, the heat. We'll see if there's any advisories in effect tomorrow, but yeah, we are expecting a high tomorrow of 95 degrees, so keep that in mind. It's gonna be hot. If you can avoid it, I'll go back to this one. If you can avoid it, you know, just maybe stay inside or go to a pool. Take a dip out there, cool down, please. And I'm gonna wrap it up. Hey Jeff, say you joined late. How's it going? At least you joined to the point where I could say hi before I logged off. But that's it from me, friends. I'll leave it here on the 7-day 4. Actually, no, I'll leave it here on this picture because it's so pretty. And if you look at it, it doesn't look like it's hot. You can see all the people outside. They're clearly not affected by the heat, but of course it's a lot cooler out there at the coast. So compared to our inland spots. So people are, you know, getting a little bit of relief, getting a little further west towards the water. But this is a really gorgeous shot. I'm going to leave it on here for a little bit. I'm going to wrap it up. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Stay hydrated, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.